Good evening, I'm Bob Picozzi. We are only 48 miles from the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, where 20 young children and 6 adults were killed in a horrific shooting last Friday, an incident which has devastated an entire state. Just a few minutes ago here at the XL Center, there was a moment of silence for those who lost their lives in that senseless tragedy. And our thoughts and prayers go to the victims and their family, the remainder of the students at the school, the teachers and the staff members and their families, and to all of the people in Newtown. Brian Percy will toss the ball up. He's working with Clarence Armstrong and Brett Hampton. It will be Enish Wolf jumping center for UConn. And for Maryland Eastern Shore, number 22, Ron Spencer, and the ball goes to the Huskies. With Jones not getting the start, number 0, Dominic Cowell, does get the start, and you can take a look at how small he is. He's just 5'7". Wolf from the foul line. And the rebound pulled down by Spencer.
It'll be interesting to see if the Hawks hold the basketball or attempt to hold the basketball. UConn is very good pressure defense on the perimeter.
Cowell entry pass. Smartly knocked out of bounds by Wolf with 21 seconds left in the shot clock. Huskies 7-2. Have not played since beating Harvard back on December 7th. Cowell nearly put himself backcourt on that. Cowell looking inside and gets it to Ezeru. And he will call for travel.
Well, Ezeru has only played 2 games this year. The first 2 games of the season, has been injured for Frankie Allen, and now comes back.
Averaging 6 points and 6 rebounds per game.
Looked a little rusty on that one.
Wolf getting his 2nd straight start at the center position. Daniels goes around Spencer. Rebounded by Ezeru.
Well, you mentioned Wolf is starting Tyler Olander, who is going to be coming in off the bench. Very capable player.
Kick out Bell, wide open look. And the rebound controlled by Spencer. Rebounding's been a problem all season for UConn.
-7 on the year for UConn. Not one of their strengths. Typically it is, as is shot blocking. Again, not a strength in this team.
The strength of this team lies in the backcourt with Napier and Boatwright. Foul line jumper, kissing it off the glass, is Snyder.
Snyder's their captain. 12 points, 6 boards a game, kind of inside-outside guy.
Napier goes around Cowell easily and leaves for Calhoun. Chatting and shoot around Bob today with Kevin Ollie. He said, we need to get Omar Calhoun going. We know he can be a scorer for us.
They need that 3rd scorer. You mentioned Shabazz and Ryan Boatwright. He can light it up. Leading scorer in the history of Christ the King High School in New York. That's pretty good. Big company there.
They've had a few good ones. Did not score last time out against Harvard. And Boatwright got Ezeru. And you don't want to be fouling a 6'9" guy taking an 18-foot jumper like that.
First personal foul.
First foul of the night. And to the line will go Francis Ezeru from Enugu, Nigeria. First season here at Maryland Eastern Shore. They have 6 first-year players on this team.
Yeah, a lot of junior college players on this team, and that's what Frankie Allen told me at practice today. He had to go that route. Feels like he can get some size by going to JC route in his recruiting.
An early substitution for UConn. Niels Giffey replacing Boatwright.
Giffey gives them outside shooting and more size. He's 6'7".
Off the missed free throw, the rebound comes to Wolf. Huskies 7-2. Daniels sets the high pick. Down low, Giffey. Backs his way in on the shorter Bell.
Nice substitution by Kevin, I'd say.
Giffey had a big game earlier this season against Stony Brook. Came off the bench with 15 points and 8 rebounds. Snyder picks up the dribble, gives to Bell. Bell wants to take it right at Giffey, who contested the shot, gets the rebound. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Napier shuffles it inside the Daniels.
Good decision by Napier. He had two guys to feed to. He gave it to the biggest guy in the middle. Easy play.
Kevin Ollie would love to see more of those easy baskets.
Yes, judgment in the break is something that's extremely important for a team that runs a lot.
Colo to Snyder for the pull-up. Rebound Giffey. Napier reverses it to Giffey. Entry pass to Wolf. Boy, he wasn't even thinking shot there, was he? And then tries to force it down low to Daniels and throws it out of bounds. When they can get Niels Giffey going, they're a different team, Bob.
6-7, get in the game. Hit that turnaround, Niels, over a smaller player. Very, very smart.
And we'll be keeping our eye, Bob, on another Big East game tonight at the Carrier Dome.
I'll tell you what, number 900 coming up for Mr. Boeheim. Talk about a model of consistency. There it is, the paradigm for it.
Hawks turn the ball over off the inbound. Second turnover.
Tyler Olander in the game right now, Bob, and let's see if he can get on the offensive glass a little bit. Leads the team in that category, but only 13 on the year for him. They have not been demons on the offensive glass at all.
He replaces Wolf. It is a very different team makeup-wise underneath this year. Giffey catches and fires. And just taking the rebound away inside was Omar Calhoun.
Olander actually got a tip on it too and kept the ball alive, so he makes his presence felt as soon as he gets in the game.
A 9-0 Huskies run. Only the second time these two teams have met. First time was all the way back in 1987. That was 3 years before Gamble Pavilion was built. E-shot pit number 2 is checked in. MEAC all-rookie team a year ago. Snyder jump shot no good. Offensive rebound down low. It's blocked by Olander, and then Olander has the defensive board taken away. Snyder right back to the rim. Token full court pressure. Napier will walk it up the floor. Napier's had a puzzling season, Bob. In many games he has struggled early and has scored the overwhelming majority of his points in the second halves of games.
Yeah, averages 12 points in the second half of games. Bob, I think he's mentally in this situation where he can get a shot anytime, and I think he wants to, in his mind, make sure everybody gets involved. But you got to take what the defense gives you.
Pitt has it taken away by Giffey. Napier gives to Daniels.
Unselfish.
Daniels coming off that huge effort last time out against Harvard. He had 23 points, and the Huskies desperately need to see more of that from him. He could be that third scoring option too.
I hope that's a breakout situation for him.
Here's a 3-on-1 again after a steal, but Napier lost the handle. Calhoun gets it. Looks like a hot potato. Now ahead of everyone is Spencer. So a rare transition basket for the Hawks.
Maryland Eastern Shore has played two other Big East teams, University of South Florida and Cincinnati. Got beat both, obviously. Spencer had a good game against South Florida, 14-7.
Olander's entry pass was not on target, and turnover number 3 for UConn. That Cincinnati game was the last time out for the Hawks. It was a week ago Saturday.
92-60.
Bearcats are 10-0. Still ranked 11th in the country. The latest poll coming out earlier today. With the shot clock inside 10, Snyder forced it. It went right through the legs of Spencer. Now the shot clock is at 3, and a bailout foul with 2 seconds left on the possession. It will be on Olander. Number 1 on Olander and number 2 on the team. When you look at this UConn team, Bob, it is just so different than most of the teams that Jim Calhoun had. You're just used to a bunch of shot blockers inside. This team really not built that way.
No, not at all. And of course, the situations with Jim retiring last year and not being able to participate this year, Alex Oriaki leaving from Missouri, you know, those kind of little things make a big deal out of the change in personnel on the team.
Substitution for UConn, an early look at number 0, Philip Nolan, 6'9" freshman. We haven't seen much of him at all. He gets a defensive rebound and promptly gets fouled.
Freshman from Wisconsin.
First personal foul.
Watching Nolan in practice this afternoon, he's very, very quick. Kind of slight in the build area, so getting some minutes here.
He has only played 53 minutes in the first 9 games. He's only played in 6 of those games. Kevin Ollie still searching for an answer in the post. Daniels double team, tries to force it across the lane, and Nolan gets bailed out by a foul. This will be number 2 on Ezuru and 2 on the team. So to the line will go Philip Nolan. Chatting with Kevin Ollie today, Bob, we asked him what were some of the things you spent during that 9-day layoff for finals, because you don't need to spend all 9 days on your next opponent. He says, well, we were working on our zone offense, and we were working a lot on rebound.
You know, the problem with working on rebound, the guys don't get any taller, you know, and you know, it's just a talent thing with this team. I mean, they're doing fundamental things correctly, but it's just a matter of there's no Drummond out there, there's no Alex Oriaki, there's no Emeka Okafor. You know, there's just not, you know, the talent level that they've had in the past. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to be a good team. I think they are going to be a good team, but it's going to be different.
Foul line jumper by Spencer is good. And all of a sudden, the Hawks, who trailed 9-2, pull within 3. Boatwright pull up 3. Boatwright has not been very efficient from three-point range, only 26% for the year before knocking down that one.
He's got confidence, though, and he's going to be a good shooter. Quickness on quickness for Boatwright. He can get around people.
Donald Johnson, the second with the miss, and a one-handed rebound by Daniels. Boatwright inexplicably lost the ball. 4th turnover for UConn, and Williams goes from one end to the other. Here's Boatwright, 3-on-2. Daniels left, Calhoun right. And the foul.
Daniels.
First foul on Pitt, and 3 on the team. Turnovers just killing the Hawks early, Bob.
And they lead to classic fast breaks. Nice execution by UConn. And Ryan Boatwright, you can see on his eye right there, he's got the Sandy hook.
And you thought the only news around the Big East was bad news. Tell you why you're wrong when we come back. The Associated Press poll earlier today. Of course, there was a shakeup with Indiana losing that thriller to Butler the other day. Duke, the new #1 team in the land. Daniels cannot complete the three-point play. Two teams are a combined 0 for 7 from the foul line tonight.
Statistically speaking right now, the offensive rebounding is rearing its ugly head for UConn. Maryland Eastern Shore, 4 offensive boards, UConn only 2.
Huskies 315th in the country in rebounding margin. This is Frank Mays, who just joined the team this weekend.
Queens, New York, hasn't practiced much. I asked Frankie Allen about him. He says he doesn't know the plays, but he's a player.
He knew that last play. Boatwright with his second three of the night. In fact, Maryland Eastern Shore added 3 players for this game, all making their Hawks debuts tonight. And May is the first one to get in.
And the reason for that is that it's semester break and guys become eligible after the first semester if they're transfers.
There's another one of the new players, number 11, Gerard Davis, who draws the foul. It will be on Daniels, his first, and number 3 on UConn.
Also, when you get some new guys at the semester break, it can add energy to a team, especially if a team is 0-9 like the Hawks are. Mays is a physical specimen, very tough, big guard.
22, Leon Tolksdorf in for UConn. So Kevin Ollie going deep into his bench early in this one. What do you make of that?
I think he feels like he's going to control this game very well, wants to make sure he rewards guys who have worked hard in practice. And I think he also feels like coming up in the Big East, he needs to develop depth.
This is Mays, puts it on the floor again, goes right into the double team, and it didn't matter. UConn by 7. Giffey for 3. Weak side rebound to 5'7" Cole.
Nobody on the weak side at all in the white jerseys. Mays is feeling it, huh?
Yeah, but he passed it right into the hands of Boatwright. Cole tried to foul him and couldn't. That's one of those what coaches call live ball turnovers, and they will kill you.
I'll tell you, this is an odd lineup right now for UConn. In the game, both Philip Nolan and Leon Tolksdorf, the most seldomly used players on the roster.
Nine minutes left, first half. Huskies by 9. Spencer knocks down his second jumper from the foul line extended.
Spencer and Snyder both 6'9", 6'6". They are facing players, not back to the basket, guys. Need to be played tightly on the perimeter.
Napier will hand to Boatwright to reset the offense. Boatwright, a lot of one-on-one activity. Giffey with the offensive rebound, then lost the handle to Snyder. Not a whole lot of movement without the ball for UConn.
Not at this juncture. Early in the game, they were running their stuff, but when you don't have post presence, you're going to get a lot of stuff off the dribble. UConn is not one of the leading teams in this league in assists. Do a lot off the bounce.
Gerard Davis, rebound Giffey. Behind the back goes Napier. And then he's pushed from behind by Mays. That will be number 1 on him and number 4 on the team. UConn coming off finals break, up by 7.
Very important. Boatwright doing his best in that category so far in this game. UConn is a guard-driven team. There's no doubt about that. And there's the comparison between the guards on each team. UConn obviously dramatic in that fashion. Spencer and Snyder. 10 points, 4 points for the rest of the team.
Here's Napier looking for a deep 3.
That's Napier 3.
Huskies open up a 10-point lead for the first time tonight. Between them, Napier and Boatwright are averaging 31 points per game. That is unquestionably the strength of this team.
No doubt about it. That's big. And he shoots 38%, Shabazz, from deep.
Bell with a contested 3, and then Olander just ripped the rebound out of the hands of Snyder. And we'll get a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it at the Maryland Eastern Shore end.
Well, Boatwright and Shabazz Napier. Team is 4 for 6 from deep right now. Here we go on the weak side. Nice aggression on the part of Olander.
Three-point shooting not ordinarily this team's strength. UConn only 14th in the Big East in that category. Boy, a delayed call, but nevertheless the right call as TJ Kosile just ran over his man in cutting for the hoop without the ball. His first foul and 5 on the team.
So it hit Boatwright right in the mouth because there was a switch. He rolled too soon. Right here you see the switch. Gives him an elbow, runs right over him. Can't do that.
7 minutes left first half. Kolksdorf thought about it, spins inside, and will earn a trip to the line. Kolksdorf, a young man, Bob, who had only played 11 minutes in 2 games this season prior to tonight.
He's from Germany, and of course, so is Giffey and Wolf. I watched him. I confess I haven't seen a lot of him this year, but in practice today, he really shoots the ball beautifully. He's got a great looking stroke, and you can see it there. Watch his follow through on this shot. Keeps his right hand up for a long time. That follow through keys the right rotation.
Now 2 for 4 from the line this year. That foul on Kosile was his second. Jim Boeheim's pursuit of number 900 going well early. Napier to Calhoun.
That was a tough shot. He was going full speed, had to stop because he couldn't take it all the way to the basket, and gets on balance for the jumper. Omar Calhoun, nice play.
We will be keeping you posted on the climb to 900 for Jim Boeheim all evening.
He will be joining Coach Bob Knight and Mike Krzyzewski in that elite category.
Too bad there aren't any big names in that level, huh? Down low, it is Snyder with a couple more.
But Boeheim unique in the fact that he is doing it all at one school.
If it weren't for Bob Knight, Jim Boeheim would have one more national championship. He lost a heartbreaker tonight in the championship game in 1987. Calhoun, back-to-back jumper.
Like the look at him, huh? Nice mid-range shot, good strength in his legs. Scorer's mentality.
At a 17-point game against Quinnipiac.
Let's watch his defense right here. This is the best player in the game, Snyder.
Bell with the foul line pull-up. First 2 points for the junior from our nation's capital. Huskies by 11 as we approach the 5-minute mark. Olander set the screen, and that'll be 3 fouls already on Kosile and 7 on the team.
You know, Bob, you talked about the big guys not being as talented as previous UConn teams. But when that's the case, what you do is you set a lot of screens for your guards, and that's what's been happening in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game. Olander comes out and sets screens. Nolan set screens. Wolf set screens. And guys like Shabazz Napier right there and Boatwright create the offense. You can play that way.
Kosile will have to take a seat, and Napier, a very good free throw shooter, will be at the line, 82%.
Leads the team in scoring, best three-point shooter, leads the team in steals. He has an uncanny ability on defense to know when to go for steals and when not to. Excellent defensive instincts.
This is a UConn team that lost players who combined for 106 starts a year ago. 2 of them among the first 12 players drafted in the NBA, and 2 others transferred. So the leadership role rests firmly on the shoulders of Napier. Inside, Spencer's shot was blocked from behind by Calhoun, but he will be whistled for the foul.
Give credit right here to the Hawks. They got through that zone trap very, very nicely. Well schooled by Frankie Allen. Get the ball to the middle, go to the weak side.
So at the line will go Spencer. Knocks down the first one. The veteran coach of the Hawks, Frankie Allen, told me, I'd rather face adversity now than later. We need to stay positive, and he feels, Bob, that once they get all the pieces in place, and of course the injury to Jones could be a disaster, he feels that they will be able to compete in the MEAC when conference play resumes. 13
teams in the MEAC. They were picked 12th in the preseason, but the addition of new players has got him in a positive frame of mind.
They lost to Delaware State in their MEAC opener.
Delaware State, one of the top 2 teams. Norfolk State, remember last year, they beat Missouri in the NCAA tournament.
Boatwright goes around Cole and hits the tough shot.
He's great off the dribble. He really is great off the dribble. The guy can move very, very hard to stay with him. If you play off him, he'll shoot it. If you play him tightly, he goes around you.
He's already got 10, and the lead is up to 14. Number 2, Ishak Pitt has returned for Maryland Eastern Shore. Shot clock at 10. Spencer set the screen, then rolled without the ball, and instead Coel with the off-balance 3.
I'll tell you what, 5'7", you got to admire him. Plays about 20 minutes a game, off the bench usually, starting in this one because of Jones's absence.
His foot was on the line. That was a 2 for Cole. 3:30 remaining first half. Huskies by a dozen. Boatwright wide open for 3.
Feeling it. Big night for him.
Boy, the Hawks need to do a better job of identifying UConn's three-point shooters and getting a hand in their face.
Well, when you're 5'7", it's hard to get your hand up in somebody's face. You hit him about in the chest.
Boatwright normally doesn't tower over the man guarding him. Inside, Mays with the tough putback.
I'll tell you, he's a tough player. I mean, this is his first game, and he's really producing.
Nice job, Calhoun running the floor. Thought he may have been bumped, and the rebound comes to Snyder. Pitt. Nice touch. And Kevin Ollie doesn't like what he sees.
Too many easy shots right now for the Hawks for Kevin Ollie's liking.
Chatting with Kevin today at shoot-around, I asked him the same question I asked you at the top of the telecast. Any concern over, where your players' heads are at? I mean, they're coming off a week of intense studying. It's the most intense time of the year academically, and he says, I try not to concern myself with that, but he did give them 3 days off during that 9-day break for final exams, which is not the least bit unusual.
Kevin Ollie, Bob, strikes me as an incessantly positive person. When people point out the struggles that they might have in this area or the other, he doesn't go there. He just, he loves this team. He loves the chemistry. It'll be interesting to see, Jim Calhoun's demeanor on the bench, totally different than Kevin Ollie's. But Kevin Ollie, has a great deal of respect in the basketball world, and I think among his team as well. It'll be very interesting to see as the Big East season begins soon.
One common thread is that both Jim Calhoun and Kevin Ollie have George Blaney sitting next to them on the bench, and at halftime, Bob will have a chat with Coach Blaney. Here's Cole. Dumps it down low for Spencer with a nice move to the goal. And a steal in the backcourt. And a traveling violation. Daniel's size may have intimidated Travis Tim just a bit here.
When you're 5'7", you got to shoot backup threes. Front change, back up, bottom. Is there an answer? You bet there is. Boatwright.
UConn by 9, and Bob, it's been a nice bounce back effort for Omar Calhoun, who didn't score last time out.
No, 9 points in this one on 4 or 5 shooting. All kinds of variety. The face-up jumper. Activity on the offensive glass. Filling the lane. Very difficult pull-up jumper on the break. This guy is a big-time scorer. We can attest to that in this game, and his history is great. Over 1,700 points at Christ the King. Terrific, terrific player. Future star here.
Go to the outstanding player in New York State his senior year last winter. Inside the 2-minute mark. Wolf back in for the Huskies. He started the game and took an early seat. Kevin Ollie doing a lot of experimenting with his personnel up front first half. Shot clock at 10. Napier over Cole.
Pull-up jumper. Great move when you're quick. Got to respect the drive. He's got the drive, he's got the stand-up three, and he's got the pull-up. That's all you need.
He's got 7, leads 11.
That's how you average 17 points a game, right? You got all those qualities.
Mays started to go, and Daniels deflected it. His foot was on the baseline. Nope. Mays was the one who touched it last. It will go to UConn. Coming up at the half, we will have a chat with ESPN college basketball insider Andy Katz with the latest news about the Big East and the latest defections. As we mentioned, Bob Wenzel chatted with George Blaney before the game. We'll hear that conversation, and also first half highlights and stats. A bumping foul will be called on number 23, Snyder, his first and 8 on the team. So the Huskies will go to the line to shoot the 1-1.
Since the timeout, Kevin Ollie's message about defense has gotten across. The Hawks were getting very, very easy shots. Kevin called a timeout. He didn't get the anger thing going, but made himself understood, and the defense has tightened up since that juncture.
Daniels knocks down the first one. Ollie telling us today that I've been stressing to my team, you better get ready for the Big East level of intensity. Their conference opener will be New Year's night at Marquette, one of the toughest venues to play in the Big East. And he says they need to know the difference. There's intense, and then there's Big East intense.
Marquette, third biggest attendance in the conference, behind Syracuse and Louisville.
Inside, Mays' shot was deflected. Rebound Wolf, and he will be fouled. It will be number 1 on Mays and 9 on the team. And at the other end of the floor, we will see the big 7'1" junior from Göttingen, Germany, Ines Wolf.
Well, this will be a first because he hasn't taken a free throw this year yet.
And that's not a good stat when you're 7'1".
Well, he did have that great game against NC State where he had 12 points and 9 boards, had 12 points against Wake, didn't miss a shot.
And the free throw nightmare continues. Huskies are 4 for 10 from three-point range. Timeout called by the Hawks. About 0.7 of a second difference. Play clock, game clock, so if Maryland Eastern Shore wants to, they can play for the last shot.
Well, you know, you lose the timeout if you don't use it. This is a teaching moment for Frankie Allen. Explaining to his players what they want to do. They should take the last shot. That's the objective here. Whether or not they do that, we'll find out. They will have the ball to start the second half if things go as Frankie plans.
The climb to 900. First half, Syracuse with a 16-point lead over Detroit. As this could be the night for a significant milestone in the life of one Jim Boeheim, a Syracuse lifer. Played in the same backcourt when he was a student with Hall of Famer Dave Bing.
I think Dave is still the mayor of Detroit, isn't he?
Literally and figuratively.
Maintain position. You notice that UConn is not out pressuring. They understand the situation. Stay in front of your man. Don't allow penetration. Challenge the jumper.
8 seconds left in the half. Bell. Cross court. Wolf got his big paw on it. The jumper by Spencer is no good, so a good defensive possession for UConn to end the half. The Huskies struggled from the foul line, but were lights out from three-point range. 63% shooting for UConn in the first 20 minutes. They lead it by 12. Sure, averages 22 three-point attempts per game. They've had 1 three-point attempt in the first 20 minutes.
Nice perimeter defense.
Omar Calhoun had 9 first-half points. Napier sets up Boatwright for the wide-open three.
4 for 4 from downtown for Ryan.
And he's got 16 points. He was 7 for 11 from the floor in his last game against Harvard.
Notice also Wolf on that play, Bob. He's most effective as a high post center, not a low post guy.
Again, Maryland Eastern Shore playing without its best player, Kyrie Jones, aggravated a long existing back injury and told Bob Wenzel before the game that he fears that a possible second surgery is not out of the equation. Cowell with a contested three.
Well, you mentioned the threes at halftime, but Frankie Allen was telling his team the same thing. We got to tune some of these up.
And Omar Calhoun with the answer. He's got a dozen. That three-pointer on the previous possession for the Hawks, their first of the night. They are 0-9 and away from the ball. Frankie Allen with an early timeout. Only a minute 19 into the second half. Doesn't like what he sees. UConn by 15.
24, so St. John's likely to lead in that category this season.
Caught a glimpse of Tyler Olander, who leads UConn in block shots. He's sixth in the Big East with 16. Out of the Maryland Eastern Shore timeout, Hawks trail by 15. They trailed by 12 at the half. And movement is better, and Mays, number 15, is in the game. This is his first game. He was very good in the first half. Ezra, who picked up 2 early fouls, shoots over Wolf, or at least he tried to. And that will be a shot clock violation because Bell's shot got nowhere near the rim. Left-handed player blocking a right-handed shot. That's a very, very good way to do it. Fourth block shot of the night for the Huskies. Shabazz Napier. Boatwright. Boy, they lost him on the switch. 5 for 5. They are now 8 for 11 from three-point land in this game. What did the Hawks do wrong on that one? Everything. You can't go under screens with a guy that shoots as well as Boatwright is shooting tonight. You got to either hedge or go over the top. 19 points for Boatwright, equals his season high. A contested three by Bell. That was a tough shot. Yeah, and he's in the 20s too, but confident despite that. Louis Bell has started most of the games this season for them. He once hit 8 straight three-point field goal attempts when he was in high school. Daniels with the fade in the lane. Nice. Boy, they need some of that from him, huh? Yep. He's playing the 4 spot, but he's a face-up guy. I don't think there's any question. At 192 pounds, he's not going to be a lane player in the Big East Conference. Figuring out a way for him to get better shots is a good idea. Facing the basket. Huskies by 17. We've played 3 minutes, second half. First game out of the long break for final exams for both teams. Now the shot clock's at 10. Cowell penetrates and dumps for a 0, and it's blocked from behind by Daniels. Shot clock didn't recycle. It's down to 3, but it doesn't matter because the Huskies get a steal. Maybe the Huskies don't like being only 5th in the Big East in block shots. Calhoun for 3.
Omar Calhoun.
9 for 12 are the Huskies from downtown. 15 points for Omar. He's really doing a good job. You mentioned them, Bob, trying to find a third scorer, and he's the likely candidate. Even though DeAndre Daniels plays, up front and should get a little bit more shots, Calhoun, I think, has a lot more ways to score. Well, one of the problems for the Huskies is that Daniels sometimes takes too many shots from the perimeter. Fancies himself as a perimeter player, and on this team, they need him to take it inside more. So, well, a lot of shake and bake himself, but meanwhile, the shot clock's going to run out. That's not what you want from your point guard. 3 possessions in a row where the UConn defense has forced Maryland Eastern Shore to the end of a shot clock. That's good D. Well, the Huskies have had a lot of pretty good freshmen over there. Looks like they got another one. Oh my, Omar. Yes. West Point, Bob Knight. Some select company in that 900 plateau. Three-point shooting, the story of the game for UConn from an offensive perspective. They have been lights out from outside the three-point line. And they've defended the three-point line very well at the other end. Indeed. Calhoun another 3, and he's fouled shooting it. So he'll shoot 3 from the line. The foul will be on Kevin Mays, his 3rd. Calhoun, to me, is a freshman that has some composure about him. He doesn't seem to get out of control ever.
He understands his role. He knows that Napier and Boatwright are going to be handling the ball most of the time. Doesn't try to create shots on his own too much. Moves intelligently without the basketball. 6'5", 195. Good athletic prowess and a nice stroke.
The New York Gatorade Player of the Year a year ago when he was a senior at Christ the King, and that free throw gives him a new career high with 18 points tonight. He's got 15 and a half minutes to add to that total.
Half-court trap, 1-2, 1-1 variety.
Huskies led by 12 at the half, and they've already opened it up to 23, less than 5 minutes into the second half. Baseline, Spencer. Dangerous cross-court pass to Snyder. Shot clock down to 5. Cowell for 3. Rebound, Daniels. It's been a much better defensive effort in the first 5 minutes of the second half for the Huskies.
Oh my goodness, wasn't that fun?
Napier did a little bit of every little hide and seek with the basketball there. Tough situation for Maryland Eastern Shore. They'll still play another road game after this, which means they will start their season with 11 consecutive games away from home. They won't play their home opener until January 3rd. That's a tough mission.
Amen. Big East Conference games start last day of the month.
Contested shot by Snyder, didn't even get to the rim. Napier to Boatwright. He goes baseline. Calhoun. Wolf was open inside. They didn't find him. Napier will reset the offense. And goes around Spencer and then throws it into the backcourt. Only the 6th turnover for Kevin Ollie's club. Kevin, a third-team All-Big East guard when he was a senior at UConn. And to this day, he is still third on the all-time UConn assist list.
Good size for a point guard. Just has a way about him. You know, people like him automatically. Pays attention when he looks straight at people, and his good leadership characteristics. I think he's great, and he's the guy for UConn.
Mays barely hit the rim. Boy, Maryland Eastern Shore just settled for the perimeter shots here in the second half. Giffey. Boatwright 3, finally missed one. Wolf with the defensive board and the reset to Napier.
Characteristic of Wolf's play, right? Back to the basket, does not try to score. If he can get offensive rebounds like that and keep possessions alive, he will be on the floor more.
Boatwright had been 5 for 5 from three-point range tonight before that miss. The handoff, Wolf to Daniels.
The value of keeping your center on the high post is it clears the basket area for drives. Excellent example of that on that possession. Wolf talking a lot with DeAndre Daniels on the way over. They like that play together.
Timeout, Maryland Eastern Shore. Well, on December 8th, the state of Connecticut lost a broad. Maybe the nice thing you can say about Arnold is he survived more than 60 years in this tough industry and literally doesn't have a single enemy in the world. He will be missed. Out of the timeout, Maryland Eastern Shore ball up by 27. Down by 27, rather. Tolksdorf, number 22, back in for UConn. The corner jumper by Williams, no good. Long rebound to Boatwright, has Napier on the right. Good hustle by Mays to knock it away from behind. There's no secret, Bob, that Maryland Eastern Shore is in a situation where they have to play what are known as guarantee games. This is the third of 4 in a row. They played Maryland and Cincinnati. They'll play Ohio on Saturday. And schools like Maryland Eastern Shore need the guarantee payday because they subsidize the entire athletic department.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And there's the result of what you're talking about. And on the other hand, the other part of that is you're a player at Maryland Eastern Shore. It's a thrill to play Maryland. It's a thrill to play at Cincinnati and at UConn. So, I mean, the chances of winning those games aren't great, but it's the experience for the student athlete that's also very positive besides the dollars.
Tokestorp for three. Everybody's knocking him down tonight. His first career three-pointer, and the lead is up to 30. And Frankie Allen was telling me, he says, normally these games can be a good measuring stick, but we are missing some pieces of the puzzle. Boatwright with the explosion at 6 feet tall. A new season high for him at 21. Wheels kind of falling off here for the Hawks.
And defense is what's doing it for UConn. Their intensity level in the second half at this end has been very, very good.
On the drive, and the shot blocked from behind by Olander, but a foul will be called. Boatwright's done a little bit of everything tonight, Coach Wenzel.
Well, he's making the threes, but also the defense leads to this. 18, 16, and now 21.
And in his last 2 games, he's 15 for 21 from the floor.
Yikes.
Eshak Pitt at the line for Maryland Eastern Shore. Last season, Pitt made the MEAC All-Rookie team. Substitution, Cole back in for the Hawks. Also on the floor, number 10, Travis Trim. Next up for Maryland Eastern Shore will be Ohio University on Saturday.
I'm sorry, Bob. Travis Trim, number 10, is a better defensive player and taller than Cole. And of course, Ryan Boatwright's been shooting over the 5'7" guy.
Nice pass from Olander, hit Napier in stride.
In evaluating UConn, they do not have low post game. So what they have to do is bring their big guys away from the basket, and if they're astute passers like that, you're going to see a lot of that kind of scoring by UConn this season.
Number 11, Gerard Davis checks in for Maryland Eastern Shore. We saw him in the first half. This is his first game in a Hawks uniform. Shot clock inside 10. Shot clock at 3. They're not going to get the shot off. Inexperience shown that time by Cole, playing the point because the best player for Frankie Allen, Kyrie Jones, not in action tonight after aggravating a long existing back injury.
Averages 17 a game, had 24 against Maryland, 24 against Cincinnati. I'm referring to Jones. Without him, it's a whole new ball game for this team.
Knocked out of bounds, 17 to shoot for UConn. There's Kyrie Jones, and the look on his face pretty much says it all. He looks like he's in a great deal of discomfort, physically and emotionally. Don't you think he wanted to play tonight, the XL Center against UConn?
Yep.
3-time national champ. Well, they tried to go to the well once too often, and that time maybe it wasn't there for Napier.
2 years ago, back surgery when he was a player at Northern Illinois, transfers here. You can see the good numbers by Kyrie. Can play well against big teams.
This is his first season at Maryland Eastern Shore. He played last year for Kankakee Community College in Illinois. He only played 11 games last year. His dad's a coach. His dad, Kevin, coached at Chicago State. Brother, Kevin, played for him. Williams with Giffey's hand in his face. That one didn't get anywhere near the rim. The putback by Cole, no good. And its last touch by Travis Trim. It will come back to the Huskies.
You know, one of the other things that when you don't have shot blocking like UConn has customarily had, the guys on the perimeter have to play more contained. They can't gamble as much because if they do, they have nobody backing them up. So UConn perimeter guys like Boatwright and Shabazz Napier, they can't take as many chances trying to go for steals as they've had in the past.
The entry pass was first deflected by Ezru and then last touched by Olander. So it will go to the Hawks as Boatwright and Giffey get a rest.
Well,
Calhoun returns.
Well, Calhoun now is going to play the 2 guard. He's been playing the 3 spot a lot, and that's really their best lineup with those 3 in the game. Let's see how he does defensively here, guarding somebody not so good, huh? Immediately, his guy scores.
Next up for UConn will be a Friday night date in this building against Fordham. The Huskies gradually make their way to the Big East opener on New Year's night. Foul on Snyder.
Second personal.
His second.
Second team foul.
And number 2 on the Hawks this half.
Bob, you mentioned Fordham coming in here. This is only the second game that UConn has played at the XL Center this year. They will play 9 games total. And then, of course, we know they play their other games in stores.
Calhoun may have gotten away with a little shove as he adds to his career high, now with 20. First game UConn played here was against New Hampshire, and New Hampshire hung around for the entire game. Nice cut to the goal by Williams, couldn't finish. Rebound Tolkstorff. Napier reverses it to Tolkstorff.
Great vision.
Rebound in traffic to Snyder. Inside the 8-minute mark. Snyder, nice move to the basket. Young man who played his first 2 years of his college career at Green Bay. The miss by Calhoun and the defensive rebound by Mays. Snyder goes baseline. Williams no good. One-handed rebound by Napier.
Right now, guys are tired out there. It's getting very sloppy. I'm wondering if Kevin Ollie should call timeout. Right here, see, Shabazz is smart. He's letting his guys rest right here. They're not playing good defense. Too many easy shots by Maryland Eastern Shore. This is how you catch your breath. This is smart play by a good point guard.
Shot clock inside 10. The next whistle will be immediate timeout.
Now let's see if their defense gets any better after that temporary rest right here. Last couple of possessions, it's been weak. They've allowed drives to the basket too easily.
It was a 12-point game at the half. UConn has outscored the Hawks by 18 in the first 13 minutes of the second half. Shot clock inside 10 again. Just a lazy bounce pass.
Better do that time, right?
Well, Coach Wenzel, it has been suggested that you are known by the company you keep. We'll tell you what we mean. More on that story when we return, with UConn leading by 30.
By 18.
Jim Boeheim won the national championship with Carmelo Anthony leading the way in 2003. Lost in the finals to Bob Knight in Indiana in '87. Lost in the finals to Rick Pitino in Kentucky in 1996 at the Meadowlands.
Well, right now the NCAA is talking about moving some Final Fours back into, away from stadiums and possibly back into arenas. And the last one is the one you mentioned. The Meadowlands was the last time that it was in a smaller place. Interesting thoughts.
So tonight, Jim Boeheim looks like he's going to get his 900th. You wouldn't happen to recall the circumstances surrounding his 500th win, would you, by any chance?
I remember the game vividly. They were killing us when I was coaching at Rutgers.
Basket hanging underneath is Philip Nolan.
How about that?
Philip Nolan.
I think Philip was trying, he's smiling as he goes back. He was trying to use the backboard and didn't.
He nearly used the shot clock. That's 9th and 10th points of the season, first 2 tonight.
Well, with Nolan and Tolkstorff getting extended minutes here, that's what you want.
And Nolan got abused on that one. Man got behind him, rolled for the hoop, and they found him.
He's a novice player. He was trying to front. He's kind of on the weak side, very thin player right now.
Daniels misses the long 3, rebound Cole. Snyder from the side. And a tough rebound for Tolkstorff. Here's Calhoun to Nolan. Runs the floor. Good catch.
Freshman to freshman.
Sometimes throwing the ball to a big man on a break is not a good idea, but Nolan looked very comfortable catching that on the run. Rebound batted around. And here's Boatwright with Calhoun to his left. Tokesdorf inside Daniels. He's got 13. Who had the best hands of any big man you've ever seen?
Ever seen?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Artis Gilmore, 7'3" from Jacksonville University, and of course played in the NBA forever. He's first ever in the NBA in field goal percentage. Most of the shots were dunks, but you shake hands with him and you feel like you're going to have a broken hand.
You would know all about Jacksonville basketball history because you coached the Dolphins for 5 years before coaching their alma mater at Rutgers. This is what lies ahead for UConn. We told you about the Fordham game, then a break for Christmas, and then the Huskies and the Huskies on December 29th when Washington comes to town.
Yeah, and you know, by that time, if things go according to the plan, Connecticut might be 10-2 at that point, and then you begin to wonder about the decision about Ollie's contract and so on. You know, they start the Big East. That's very, very important. And of course, because of the APR and the fact that UConn's not participating in the NCAA tournament, I'm sure that people are keeping track on how exams went this year. And hopefully everything went well in exam week for these players.
And Kevin indicated to us today that he feels that will be the case when the grades come out following the first semester. The shot no good by Bell, got his own rebound. And then he was fouled by Tokesdorf as Bell will go to the line. But meanwhile, it's been you know, widely known that Kevin Ollie is only on a one-year contract for this season. And UConn is facing some obvious obstacles, not being allowed to play in the NCAA tournament. And as a result of the Big East tournament, certainly the announcements about Big East defections certainly have to influence high school recruits. And there's no doubt, Bob, that there's Jim Calhoun, his predecessor, who would love to see Kevin Ollie get a long-term contract. But the longer that athletic director Ward Manuel waits, if you're a young man thinking about UConn, you have to think, well, we don't know who their coach is going to be, and we don't know what conference they're going to be in.
Well, you know, I can see the athletic director taking his time, you know, to evaluate things, and but I think clearly Kevin Ollie has proven his loyalty to this school, his place in the community, his ability clearly to coach a team well. You know, I think speaks volumes, and we'll see what happens, but it seems likely.
Boatwright's shot was deflected by Azeru, goes out of bounds with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Kevin Ollie's club well on its way toward win number 8 tonight in Hartford.
Moore, who's director of basketball operations, administration, those two also have UConn championship rings. So they keep it in the house here.
Tokesdorf off the inbound misses the three. Last touch by UConn. Ricky Moore and Kevin Freeman got their rings as players on the first championship team in 1999. And the full-time assistants, Blaney, Hobbs, and Glenn Miller, collectively have 57 years of collegiate head coaching experience among them.
Our great director, Bob Frateroli, was trying to get the rings on their hands, but I think they're stored in a safe place.
In fact, they might be stored in stores. Giffey and the foul. Germany with a chance for a three-point play.
Little acrobatic right here. Jumps sideways, takes the bump, and still gets it to go. He is 6'7". I remember a couple of years ago when he was a freshman in Hawaii, he came out and played fabulously in that tournament, and they won it. They were unranked and became a great team. They seem to have difficulty finding minutes for him always.
He played for Germany's under 20 and under 19 national teams. Also was coached in its club team in Germany by former North Carolina star Henrik Rodel. Mays drove, deflected out of bounds by Tolksdorf with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Off the inbound, the easy conversion by Lewis Bell. In and out of the hands of Tolksdorf. Tolksdorf, a wide open look. Long rebound to Mays. Nice job of drawing the foul on Omar Calhoun. UConn playing shorthanded tonight without R.J. Evans, who is a graduate student using the final year of his eligibility here at UConn. And Bob, this is the third game that R.J. has missed with a collarbone area sprain. He actually came back, played last time out against Harvard. When we chatted with Kevin Ollie today, he said, well, if I can get away without using him tonight, that's what I will try to do, because he's not completely healed.
He knows how to play. He's a transfer from Holy Cross. Played 3 years there. Scored 1,200 points when he was at Holy Cross. Sister plays at the University of Kentucky. So he is a welcome addition to the depth area. He's a perimeter guy who can handle and pass and score a little bit.
He was the Patriot League Rookie of the Year his freshman year at Holy Cross. And he is from the state of Connecticut, from Norwich Free Academy. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Giffey. Our first look this season at number 4, Brendan Allen, a former walk-on, now on scholarship. His first action of the season. Nolan had it knocked away as he left his feet. Giffey. 7 points off the bench for Giffey inside the 2-minute mark. So UConn will go to 8-2 heading into the Friday night home game with Fordham. Cole goes around Allen, gets it up and over Nolan, and last touch by UConn and a fresh 35 on the shot clock for the Hawks. Frankie Allen will go to his bench and send Spencer back in. Frankie Allen was telling us, I like my team the way they've handled adversity. They've given good effort. They are very resilient. And boy, they've had a lot to be resilient about when you open up the season. They started their season, Bob, by playing 6 games in 9 days.
Yeah, the good part, though, is they played in Hawaii the first game.
Yeah, if you want to be tired in Hawaii. The 3 by Bell is good.
Well, speaking of travels, UConn had the same situation. They go to Germany to play against Michigan State the first game, come back, they're here for a few days, then they ship off to the Caribbean to play down there. So a lot of college players getting a lot of good geography lessons over the course of the years, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure UConn needed a plane to get home from Germany. They were sky high after that tremendous season opening win over a nationally ranked Michigan State team.
Yeah, Michigan State was ranked 14th in the preseason, and a big win.
Off the inbound, Brendan Allen. Rebound pulled down by Spencer with 1:10 remaining. Mays. And the walk-ons will enter the next whistle. Reaction coming from the fans, and here is a 2-on-1. Calhoun with the finish. And Kevin Ollie instructing his players to foul so he can get the walk-ons in the game. Big night for Omar Calhoun.
Breakaway. This was the easiest one of the night for him. Lots of three-point shooting, pull-ups, moving without it. Big smiles all around for Omar.
Omar leaves with a career-high 22 points. So first action of the season for walk-ons, number 14, Pat Lenahan, number 20, Trey James, number 23, Dave Vandal, and number 25, Tor Watts.
At shoot-around today, These guys had green shirts on, and they were playing defense against the first and second team, working like crazy, like it was the national championship game.
And the problem is, if they get the ball back when the shot clock's off, their coach won't want them taking a shot with a 32-point lead.
No, you got to take a shot. You got to take a shot.
Williams with the miss, and they will get it back. 23 left in the shot clock.
Watch the UConn bench now. The guys who have started the game, they are going to be up on their feet trying to cheer their guys on. They want somebody to score here.
Yeah, well, they always wanted to give it to a walk-on. They got 4 choices here.
Good camaraderie.
Here's James to Lenahan.
Shoot it.
James inside to give to the guy who's not the walk-on. Nolan. They screwed it up. Donald Williams with 3 seconds to go. And another Hawks turnover with 2.9 remaining. And that'll do it. So UConn comes off a 9-day layoff from final exams. Takes a 12-point lead at the half and then really dominated the second half. And they come away with an 84-50 win. So the Huskies go to 8-2. And Maryland Eastern Shore has now begun its season with 10 consecutive losses. All of them either away games or neutral site games. The Huskies shot a season high 66% from the floor, 33 for 50, and were 10 for 19 from three-point range. So a solid performance by UConn against an obviously overmatched opponent. And UConn wins it by 34 over Maryland Eastern Shore. Only the second time these two teams have ever met, and the first time they've met since 1987. Big game for Ryan Boatwright for the Huskies. Had a season high 21 points on 8 of 10 shooting, 5 for 6 from three-point range. And Ryan Boatwright and his head coach Kevin Ollie are with Bob Wenzel. Bob?
Thank you very much, Bob. Kevin, terrific game today. Big win in terms of the score differential. Tell me about coming off exams and your pleasure or displeasure with how this game went.
We played hard. We played aggressive. I wanted us to play a little bit better in the first half, but we turned it up the second half. So I guess my halftime speech worked a little bit. So, but we shot the ball well. We played better defense. We pressured them. We made them feel less comfortable in the half-court setting. We started rebounding the ball a little bit better.
Okay, talk to me about the rebounding issue. That's, you know, we talked about this at the noontime thing, and you don't have Emeka Okafor, you don't have Drum, you don't have these big guys in there. So what can you do?
I want to keep winning. I want to keep winning. I like Aiden too, but we do got to clean up the rebounding issue. We're gonna keep working on that. We're gonna keep emphasizing it in practice, and we needed to do it by 5. We can't just be our bigs. We got to be our guards. We got to be everybody rebounding as a collective group, and we'll share that up.
Okay.
But I like to win, though.
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Talk to me about a little bit about Ryan Boatwright's performance in this game. We're going to talk to him in a second.
Yeah, he played well. He ran the court exceptionally well. He got out on a break, but he's been putting overtime. We call it BDs, basketball development, and he's been doing that outside of practice, and I think it's paying off, working with Coach Hobbs. Then he's coming in the gym by himself, and that's what we need. That's how we're going to get better, and that's how he's going to get better as a teammate.
All right, congratulations. They're reflecting your personality nicely.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ryan, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. Tell me about this game. You were hot from 3 in this game.
I just been putting in a lot of extra work in the gym. I was mad at myself for the percentage I've been shooting all year, so I've been putting in a lot of work outside of practice, and it paid off today.
All right, talk to me a little bit about, you know, everybody, UConn basketball, national championships. This year you can't go to the NCAA tournament. As a player, does that affect you in any way, shape, or form in how you play?
I mean, any player that plays collegiate basketball obviously wants to go to the tournament. So, I mean, we think about it, but, I mean, it's nothing that we can do, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we take the punches and roll with them. We still come out every day, work hard, and try to have a successful season.
Okay, and motivation part, you know, the Big East is coming up. You know, if you play well in these next 2 games, you'll be 10-2 going into that with a great win over Michigan State earlier in the year. What's your evaluation of how the league looks to you?
The league is still the league. It's still the Big East, man. It's going to be tough. Big man is tremendous in the Big East. they're strong, they're physical, they're athletic, and of course the guards is tailor-made for the Big East. So it's gonna be good competition. We just gotta come and play strong and smart, and we should be all right.
Michael Carter-Williams is a 6'6", 6'7" point guard. He's leading the nations in his assists. Are you going to go after him?
Yeah, man. I mean, really to me, the height don't mean nothing when we get out here on the court, man. I've been playing against taller dudes my whole life, so I mean, the height ain't nothing to me. We gonna go to war. You gotta lace your shoes up like I lace my shoes up.
Congratulations. Good to see you, Ryan. Bob, back to you.
Well, a good time was had by all for the Huskies tonight. They love it when the Huskies get the final basket of the game. Big win for UConn by 34.